Goddamn, get your body magic. Your body magic. Your body magic. Bang bang bang. Bang 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 bang. Your body magic.
Alright everybody, welcome to Terminal 234. It's Faye on the mic with
Dolak was here.
and guest hosting is me. Join!
Hey!
Welcome to the set, Miss Join
Give us a
J.
down.
How are you?
I'm doing great. For all who don't know, I am Dolapa's sister and I am Faye's best friend. Well, Faye is my best friend. I don't know if she told you. I'm her best friend.
I don't know if I claim
Faye's
this.
right. So I've always learned to say
That's kind of
Faye
shaky.
is my best friend. I can't say I am
I'm
Faye's
someone's
best
best
friend.
friend.
You can't say that.
Very true, very true.
No, it's reciprocated. We agree. But it's so funny. You're a natural. Look at you. You just jumped in there. I didn't even have to tell you to introduce yourself.
I've been working on my executive presence.
Hey.
Okay. It's shown right now. I like
You guys
it.
should hit me up if you ever do anything business related that has to do with
Anything.
executive presence. My
Okay.
eyes are watering. Sorry.
Oh, wow, sorry.
Okay.
This
Anyway.
is the camera, the lights. Yeah, when you know what they say when you get on the stage, the lights are really bright. You never know till you get on stage. Oh, I feel like.
Thank you.
Alright, so let's talk about what's happening. Let's talk about what's going on.
Okay, yeah, let's do some quick hits before we get into our main topic for the day. How about you start us off, Dolapo?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're going to talk about, I don't know if you saw Cardi B versus the Shade Room.
I have.
Cardi B was like, Shade Room needs to leave her alone, leave her peoples alone. Basically, she came at them because she said they're always talking about negative stuff. That was being really negative. Specifically, I guess it came about because of Offset, right, Doing?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, Offset is in some legal trouble. And, and as I can relate as well, if somebody was talking about your significant other, and just putting all the negative stuff, I feel like Shade Room does that a lot. Like, whenever something positive happens, yes, they might post it, but the real stuff, the real reason why we all follow Shade Room, and they're called Shade Room for a reason, is for the negative. So, of course, she's gonna stand up for her man.
Exactly what I was just about to say. I mean, it's called the Shade Room for a
Yeah.
reason. We're not there. If you subscribe or follow whatever, Shade Room, you're not going there for positive news. Most of the time, you're going there to see the shade, the tea, get all of the drama that's going on in, the celebrity world. So I don't know. The thing about celebrities to me is, if you don't fuck with it, like if you don't fuck with the way you're being portrayed, why not just shut out the white noise? Maybe it's easier said than done, though.
I feel like a lot of people
Easier said
tell
than
Cardi
done.
B that, though. Like, a lot of people say,
just
like,
don't
you've made it
follow
already.
them.
You really
Yeah.
don't need to speak on everything that's out there. Like, I can understand sometimes you might feel compelled to, like, say something, but, like, I would say pick your fights wisely. So, yeah.
Because I'm like, there's celebrities out there that clearly do it right. Like,
Yeah.
Like who?
Beyonce. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Faye does
Exactly,
it
like-
so well in the sense that she knows that she doesn't want coverage,
Right.
so she keeps a lot of things close to her
Right.
chest.
I'm not a Beyonce stan, but I like the way she went about it.
Same. And it's like, even when she is covered, you won't hear her say a peep about it. Or Will Smith, or, I mean, the A-listers of the world. Even Rihanna.
But do
Like,
you
Rihanna
think-
doesn't clap back as much as she once
Do you
did.
think there's a money factor? Because all these people you're talking about, like, Cardi B's not talking to them in terms of money. Like, do you think there's a factor of, like, when you get to that point, then you can actually, like, control the narrative? Because I think that's a factor.
Well, I feel like Beyonce wasn't always rich. I'm just gonna put that out there.
True.
And
I
don't
also
think
will
she's
say,
ever
though,
clapped back.
when she was coming up, there wasn't the era of Instagram.
Yeah.
That's
She
true.
grew up
You're
with the
right.
Shade
You're
Room.
right.
I'm
She
trying
didn't
to
grow up with the
think-
Shade Room, but I also feel like if she did, she would not clap back.
Can we
Like, I
think of
just don't
anybody that's, I guess,
she
what
would.
Dolapo was saying on Cardi's level that doesn't do so much of the clapbacking?
I can't even think of who is Cardi's level right now because everybody has a moment.
Right.
And Cardi has the mic.
How about this? Who's not clapping back?
That was what I was asking.
Who's
That's
not
on her
Beyonce.
level.
Don't think
yeah.
Cardi's level, think not Beyonce's level.
A lot of
who's
people
not
don't
clapping
clap back.
Well, they don't have as much coverage.
Who's
as
a good
Cardi B.
example? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
I'm
can't
trying to think of
a person
somebody
like
because I think he made a great point in the sense that she's not on Beyonce's level, so she
Right.
can't control her narrative as much as Beyonce can. You know what I mean? If Beyonce can threaten any site right quick and they'll fall in line, whereas
That's
Cardi not so
true.
much. She doesn't have as much leverage. So I think you can make a good point there.
Mhm.
I just think that, like, you have to kind of stay above the fray to a certain extent. You can't let every little thing bother you. And especially when it comes to one outlet. Like, if you don't like the way that outlet is portraying you, again, cut out the white noise. Like, unfollow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why. again, I'm not a celebrity, so I don't know how hard it is to just
I
not
will
look
say
at it.
in Cardi's defense is that Shade Room does like literally repost people's posts just to get the tea. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't. It's not Shade Room as much as we like to call it news, whatever they call themselves news. They literally, if Beyonce posts, they'll literally 2 seconds later screenshot her post and then post it as theirs and just be like, oh, Beyonce is here for this today, or Beyonce did this today.
Yeah.
Or, like, so it's like, stop reposting my post.
They just
like,
put everything in one
you.
place for you.
So that's what Cardi is saying, like that too. Like,
I know that
not only don't cover me, don't use my.
Yeah, she's
well,
called that
apparently
up,
she
like
said
that
that they
before.
can't use her stuff anymore.
Okay.
Because that was part of her rant.
Right? They don't
Part of
do
her
that.
rant was that they can't talk about her directly. So she was like, oh, they talk about everyone else around her. I don't know, like that's kind of like conspiracy theories, but she was like, they can't. I don't know. She must have had some kind of legal thing against them or something.
Okay, but this
I know
all
one
stemmed
time
from,
I
like,
literally saw her step into the Shade Room and comment, stop reposting me or something of that nature. They literally had taken a screenshot of her post and posted it, and she's like, can y'all just stop doing this? Like,
well, the most recent stuff is based off of Offset's drama, right? And all the stuff going on with him. And it's like, as a news outlet, whether it's negative or not, it's their job to post it. It's like, imagine if they didn't. How many people who do follow them for that particular reason would be like, why didn't you post it? It is what it is. Like, it's part of being a celebrity. Yeah. Which actually kind of brings us to the whole Simi thing. Right? Nice transition there.
Yeah, that's a good transition.
So
I was waiting for my chance to jump on that transition.
I'll
just wait.
No, go ahead.
You got it. I was gonna say, talking about minding your business. That's the name of the song. We start transition. I've been practicing. So yeah, Simi has a new album that just came out. Charlie Champagne. Have you listened to it?
No.
Yeah, I tried to listen to it.
In the moment.
It didn't really like make me feel anything crazy, but I mean, it's my first listen.
I haven't listened.
But it's okay. At least a couple songs I heard were okay.
I haven't listened yet, so I'm sure I'll get
it's
some
not
around
on the
to
level
listening
of her
it.
last project.
On the first listen, but I mean, sometimes it's hard. It's
hard
unfair
to follow
compare
up.
stuff.
Yeah, it's also hard to follow with something.
Yeah. So, but one of the songs on there, of course, is "Mind Your Business" featuring Files, and yeah, they basically just talk about all the people that won't mind their business. And of course, the part that I think was most interesting, at least to me, was Files actually said it. Was like he kind of made a reference to like Simi and Adekule go to get married. Was Files invited? And it was like, what is your business? What is your concern?
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? It's kind of interesting, right?
You should take
Running
this
back
one,
on the
'cause I
people.
think she feels a little bit more passionate about it than I do.
Well, I mean, I'm coming from a different level. I feel like
Talk to us.
as somebody who kind of was like a Simi stan. I wouldn't call myself a Simi stan, but getting there. I've been following her. I don't follow a lot of celebrities on Shade Room, especially not a lot of Nigerian celebrities. I think I only follow her
on Instagram.
I mean on Instagram. Sorry, I just said on Shade Room.
Oh shit, I know. Shade Room before learning.
I don't follow Shade Room anymore as well because Shade Room is too negative. But I do still support Black businesses, but I just don't follow them. Okay. So. As somebody who really, really likes Simi and the information she puts out there, and I thought I really liked what she was about, I'm not really about the whole mind your business thing when it comes to Simi. Wow. No offense, but I'm just really not about it. I don't care who she's dating. That's not the point. I think that a lot of people took this the wrong way when I'm like trying to explain it. I don't care who you date. That's not the problem. The problem is that Simi will post things with Adekunle Gold where they're not kissing, but they're like hugging in an intimate way, or like she'll just post things and like have a cryptic caption. Same thing in her stories. And then when people ask her, she'll get mad and she'll like be ready to pop off. And I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you going to put all this information out there and then spend so much energy telling us to mind our business? Maybe you shouldn't have put it out there in the first place.
Whereas for me, like where I'm coming at it from is like, just because she's giving you breadcrumbs doesn't mean you get the whole loaf of bread. You know what I mean? I think she's entitled to sharing as much as she wants to share and telling you to mind your business for the rest of it. And I liken it to a regular ass person, and I brought this up to you already, so you know where I'm going with this. But a regular person who posts a picture of their husband or their son or whatever, and then, leaves a caption there and just leaves it at that. We don't expect them to now tell us, everything going on in their marital home or everything going on with their child or any health problems or anything else. It's like we.
Well, is that what people are asking of Simi?
That's not what she's being asked though. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm coming from. I don't care what you and Adekunle are doing, if you're dating, not dating.
Okay, yeah. So what's wrong with the cryptic message?
The problem with the cryptic message is you getting mad that people are asking.
Do you think she's getting mad though, or was she just being like cute about, like coy about it? It was a cheeky title for a.
She does this on a consistent basis. Like it's not just when she had this one song that she was just being like, oh, this is a great promotion opportunity. Yeah. She does this on a consistent basis where like she'll get mad when people ask her a question. But I feel like if you didn't want the question asked, you don't even have to answer it. That's not what I'm saying. You don't have to tell us anything. You're not entitled to tell us anything.
Okay, yeah.
But the fact that you're getting mad, don't get mad. It comes to the territory.
Okay, in what ways has she
goes
shown
for a regular person.
How has she shown that she's getting mad? Like, what does she do?
Cheeky responses.
Her responses.
Like rude responses.
I think her issue is that she wants to have her space as an artist and as like a human being in the exact same place. And people don't. It's hard for people to separate the two.
Okay.
Right? And the reason I bring that up is because I can think like back when people weren't even sure if she was actually dating Adekunle Gold.
Yeah.
People thought she was with Files, like it was all this stuff.
Yeah.
She never really came out and said like no. She just kind of like she would play with it. Right?
Yeah.
I could see how it makes sense, like musically, like they had a whole EP together, her and Files. They made good music together, and it's to the benefit of people think like there's something there.
Right, exactly. It's all marketing.
But at the same time, like in the same place that you're gonna be, like, if someone asking you like, hey, yeah, like then you can't be mad if they see you with someone else. Like now, it's like, oh, this is my personal life. No. Now my personal life.
So does she really? Like, okay, because for me, I'm fine with someone saying, like, whatever, just mind your own business. Like, stay over there, whatever. I don't think that's getting mad. But I'm saying, am I missing something? Has she ever really gone out and been like, all y'all need to fall back, I hate this. You just go, like, on a party level rant.
No, she doesn't rant like that.
Okay.
That's not her. That's the thing. You have to know who she is as a person, as an artist, whatever.
What does she do?
She literally posts cryptic messages on her stories and stuff like that, or...
Like, oh, y'all are just looking for too much, like, I don't...
Yeah, she doesn't say it like that. Cryptic phase. She's
not
gonna say,
to me, that's fine.
This, or these people, or...
Then that's what I'm saying.
I can't even think of a good example
angry.
at the moment, but, like, she will literally, like... Or she will unfollow people.
Okay, how about this?
Or block
I think
people.
that Faye's getting stuck on the fact of, is she angry? Let's just assume, so we can't 100% say that she's angry because we're not sitting down with her.
She feels something.
Let's say should she feel a type of way about it, and should she let it be known that she feels a way about it? Does she have the right to feel a type of way about it?
Okay, I'll take that as two questions. Yes, she has a right to feel some type of way about it. As to whether she should let it be known, I think it's about how you let it be known. And I think if it's just, again, like a cryptic message here and there, or like, just like a cheeky song title here and there, I'm fine with that. Like if she's not, like that's why I get annoyed when we get like a Cardi level rant, like oh my god, fuck y'all, like.
But I do feel like that's I do feel like that's what it is, but she's just not doing what Cardi. She's a different person. She's doing it in a separate way, and I just feel like as somebody, I don't follow you for that content. I don't follow you for the whole mind your business content, and for the same reason, I don't follow Cardi either. Like I like her music, but I cannot follow that every day. Just saying like I'm not invested in you and Offset as I don't know you.
Okay.
I'm invested in your music.
So you kind of feel like she's adding fuel to the fire with her always bringing it up.
Yeah, that's what I feel. I feel like she's doing too much. And if it upsets you that much, stop posting him. Like, if you stop posting someone, people don't have the room to ask you about it. Like, usually when people are like, oh, are you dating this person or is this, you've usually posted a picture of you and him. And I understand some frustration, whereas I think her marriage pictures with Adekunle Gold, that was like snuck. She didn't post that. I will give her that. People snuck that, I can understand. But it's the stuff where you're kind of like, she does post pictures of her and Adekunle Gold. She does post it. She does put like long ass messages with hearts and stuff.
So how about so I think I understand where you're coming from more so before they got married. Now that they are married and it's known.
Yeah.
Is she still getting mad?
It's not what else is there? She hasn't confirmed it.
I mean, come on. We don't need her to confirm it. Are you mad? Do you think that she should confirm it?
No, I don't care if she confirms it. I just think that she should
Is she still feeling some type? Are people still asking her and she's still like acting in a kind of way?
I think so. I mean, she brought out a whole thing called Mind Your Business.
But again, I think that I heard, she said, I don't want to answer any questions about my family or my relationships. Please don't ask me any questions about
And I think that's fair enough. That's just like
honestly,
straight up. Like Beyonce
I
does
think-
not do interviews for that reason.
Let me
Or
say
there's
something.
people who
I think that
do
it's
that.
fair, but it's unfair. And I'll tell you
I
why.
don't think so.
It's unfair because all these people, they sell, like, someone like Simi, part of what they sell you is who they are. So if you're going to sell me who you are, then you're going to tell me you don't get to ask me who I am.
So how about this?
It's a level of unfairness.
Would
so
you
can't
rather
just
that
agree
she
with that.
didn't do interviews, period? Because there's a lot of artists like The Weeknd or Party Next Door or Beyonce, etc., etc., Rihanna. A lot of them that don't do interviews because they don't. It seems like unless I give you part of my personal life, you don't want anything out of me. And Simi is like, I'm willing to still do an interview. I just want that part cut off.
We're talking about two different things. I'm not talking about her interview life. I'm talking about her social media.
Exactly.
No,
it's not about the
I'm saying
interview.
we were pivoting to something
It's not
else.
about the interview specifically. That's
Okay.
just a microcosm of the general picture.
Okay.
Whereas, like, I'm going to give you this. I want you to accept it how I give it to you. Don't question it. Don't do anything. Just accept it. Like it or don't like it. Don't ask me anything else.
So don't ask me questions that bothers me.
Not post
I'm not
anything
saying
then.
that you should be happy with the questions that are being asked. I'm saying
Right.
that you should expect it. You should
a
expect
give
that
and take.
because of who you are.
Yeah.
And what you do, people are naturally curious. Even if you didn't do anything, people are always curious, Faith.
Just because you
If I
expect
posted-
it doesn't mean you can't be
If I
annoyed by
posted
it.
me with another guy, as you
You
know I'm
expect
married,
it, but you
I
can be
expect that
annoyed
people.
by it.
Yes, I'm not saying that she's not allowed to
Right.
be annoyed.
Yeah,
I'm
so
saying
fair
that you should expect that people will do this, and you might be annoyed, but you should expect it.
So
And
you're
I
saying
guess, like,
she can be annoyed,
it's
but
part
you
of
don't think
it's
she
part
should
of the
be able
gig.
to say
I
that
think it's
she's
part of
annoyed.
the gig.
Okay,
I
so
think it's part of the
I
I
agree
think
with
that's
that.
where we disagree. You guys are like, we agree to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Both of you agree with me in the sense that she's allowed to feel some type of way about it.
Mhm.
She's allowed to
You're
give us
human. You
just
can
a
feel
bit,
whatever you feel. You
and she
wanna
can
feel.
give us as much as she wants. But you guys think there shouldn't be any showing of that annoyance. Like, just keep that to yourself.
Not
No,
any.
No, you
I
can
think,
show it.
I personally think
I think
the annoyance is not all that justified because
Yeah.
it's part, like Dory said, it's part of the gig.
So
It's part of
that's
what
where
you
I
do.
disagree.
It's like being a person on Love and Hip Hop, which of course is kind of unfair because they're not maybe selling music in the same way.
That's what I meant.
But
I was about to say.
But in the same way, like she has a whole Instagram, like all these things you do to market your music.
Okay.
You use yourself to market your music.
So
You don't get to say, like, if you wanted to be that kind of, like, the kind of artist that she's trying to be, a lot of, not just her, a lot of artists try to do is, oh, just take the music and not ask for anything else. Then don't have anything else. Just have you drop your music and don't give us
That's
anything
what
else.
I'm saying.
But you want to give us, like, this and be like, oh, but I just sell music. That's all I'm here
so
for.
then
Why are you doing both?
That's
then
what
we
I'm
don't
saying.
agree. So to wrap it up, then
Yeah,
I think we don't agree
at
at all. I was trying to wrap it up and give us a.
Oh, we could wrap it up,
says,
but we don't
basically-
agree.
I'm
Yeah, I
saying-
disagree with you guys.
I don't know who I agree with. All I'm saying is you're a human. Nobody can tell you what you have the right to feel or not feel. But I'm just saying, just expect it. Expect that people will ask you questions, and it is what it is.
So that's what-
You will be asked
But
questions.
Okay.
Delapo said the annoyance is not justified. You're still on that level where you're
don't
saying
know.
the
I don't know
annoyance
if
is
I don't know
justified.
if her annoyance is justified or not.
Okay. So again,
I don't know if it
we'll
is or
just
not.
leave it at that. I
Yeah,
think
no,
everybody
she should
kind
go
of
with-
gets where each one of us
Collecting the money,
stand.
collecting the accolades, you collect some questions.
We're all on different
And
levels
not
in
to
this
even bring
spectrum,
up this
but-
whole
We should
Beyonce thing again, I'm really sorry,
wrap it
but
up
like
soon.
I hate to be all
Quick
Beyonce
hits.
Spanish, but when Beyonce was at the level where she didn't want people to ask her a question about Jay-Z, she was not on social media. She literally just started being on social media, by choice, not because it didn't exist.
Exactly.
By
No,
choice.
no,
But Sumi
that's
is
my
not
point.
doing
But I'm
that,
saying, but
so
she's
you
not
can't
doing
use
that.
the
Guys,
exact
So
same
why is she mad?
Relax. I'm saying that's why I asked you. Would you rather she give us absolutely nothing so that there's no way anybody can ask
If
her
it's
any
gonna
questions?
stop her, it's up to her.
That's why I brought that up.
If
That
it's
you
gonna
guys
stop her
said.
from being mad, then she should not post it.
Whereas I think she's entitled to feeling upset about it. I want to
Even though
give you
she's
parts.
posting it.
I want to give you parts of my
Guys,
life. I don't want it to
I
be
love this
carried on,
conversation, but we have to talk about something else.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's
Yes.
what I've been trying to do for the last 10 minutes.
Let's transition to something.
Let's just do like a couple more. Okay, so switching gears a bit. Our quick hits weren't so
Did
quick.
all the way.
Right, exactly. Considering our quick hits weren't so quick, we'll try and make this a little bit more in depth. So what are we going to talk about? I think we're basically getting pretty somber here, right? We're just kind of
what we just did behind the scenes.
right. Yeah, we'll just kind of go in depth a little bit about the world at large right now. Some of the unfortunate news we've been hearing. I feel like it's every week, every day. There's always something new, whether it's like planes crashing left and right, people getting shot, people, the normal things you would think, but also it's feeling like so much more than usual. Am I wrong there?
No. I mean, you're not wrong. I think that these things do happen on a consistent basis, but I think, again, it's with media and how they choose to share it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if one thing happens and then something similar else happens, then we tend to get a lot of that news constantly because on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? It's not to say that it doesn't happen every day.
So what's the major thing that's happened? Because there is a reason that we're kind of feeling this way.
Right.
What's the biggest one I think is the Sri Lanka attacks, right?
Yeah, the attacks.
The terrorist attacks in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Basically a bunch of Catholic churches. I think 4
on Easter.
So? Was it 4?
I don't think
it
was only Catholic.
Several.
I think it was just
churches in general. Churches in general on Easter. I liken them to or link it to Catholicism because of Easter, obviously. But anyway, either way, churches were bombed across Sri Lanka. I think a few of them was a bunch of suicide bombers. It was apparently a smaller terrorist group. Actually, it's not like
it's one local.
Exactly, they do end up having ties to ISIS. At the end of the day, but it's a smaller group. Yeah, apparently it's a smaller group that ended up being backed by ISIS. That's how they were able to carry out such a expansive,
gruesome
attack. It's hundreds of people that died.
It's 200 or 300.
I think it's crazy. 3. Yeah. So it's pretty intense, and of course, the fact that it happened on a religious holiday doesn't help the fact how much more tragic it was. It's like people were going to celebrate the end of Lent, which for whomever might not be familiar, 40 days and nights of something, fasting of some sort.
There's different
versions of it. That's why I say something. I don't know. But either way, I mean, it was pretty unfortunate that occurred. Somber mood, but that was like, I don't know, less than a month from the thing that happened in New Zealand.
And apparently they did it as, this is something I read, I don't know if it's fact, that they did it as like payback for New Zealand, which I think is just like,
which is why I brought it
That doesn't make any sense.
It's just fight fire with fire. Clearly that
does not work.
And on that tip, we also had the shooting of the, I always want to say Senegal. The synagogue in San Francisco.
San Diego.
Wow, I don't have my facts together today, guys. Maybe I should let you talk about that though. What happened there?
Yeah, go ahead, though.
So I want to say he's a young man, but I don't know his age. But a man went into a synagogue and he started shooting. He did kill one person. 2 other people were hurt in the attack. The only reason he even stopped was because his gun got jammed.
Yeah.
Then he proceeded to flee, and then there was a off-duty safety officer or patrol officer present at the moment, so he started shooting at the suspect's vehicle.
Yeah.
Which caused the suspect to dial 911 and let them know that he had been involved in a shooting. So I mean that's like the dumbest thing. The fact that he had to tell himself, but either way, you were gonna get caught.
Yeah.
So that's how that
and
unraveled.
I think he's connected to like another violent attack.
So he's also connected to igniting a mosque nearby. In the same area, and he has a manifesto out as well. So this is also a thing that people are doing now. We write manifestos, we join online groups, and then we just kind of do stuff.
Because these people are not wanting to be shielded about what they're doing. They want people to know. They want to be at the forefront of it.
I'm pretty sure he knew that he was. The thing is, he knew that he was going to get caught. He just didn't want to die. Yeah. Which is, you want to kill other people, but you don't want to die.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Clearly, you understand.
He's like, oh, I'm going to get caught, so let me just quickly call them. They have to catch me anyway.
Yeah.
So if they come right now, they will save me.
Right?
No, he's alive.
So he's in jail.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I
didn't follow up on what happened.
No. I'm just trying to say it's kind of sad, I guess. Let's not go down this road, but it's kind of sad that he gets to kill so many people and then he gets to be in jail.
Yeah, that's always the sad part about it, right? Because even if they don't go to jail, they always choose if they want to. They either kill themselves. It's their choice. They still have a choice in the matter.
Because if the police come, you can put your hands up, and they're not going to shoot you if you stop being a threat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, these have all happened within the past week or so, and it's not. I guess I want to say it's not surprising.
It's not surprising, but that's the part where and I know you guys invited me on here to talk about it because I'm so passionate about like safety and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I kind of get like riled up, is that it's not surprising, but at the same time I feel like it should be, right?
Of course.
Because let's think about it. How many times have you gone to your place of worship, or even gone to a friend's place of worship, and just gone there for peace, and like just there's a reason why we go to places like this? How many times have you posted and like said, oh, join this group, or somebody has like, you post, this is public information, right? You want people to come and join you.
Yeah.
Or you invite your friends, your family. This is where you go for safety.
Your place of sanctuary, your place of safety, like you mentioned, just your happy place.
So schools are not safe. Work is not safe. Where you pray is not safe.
Entertainment, exactly.
Yeah, even like, and for me, I know like one of the biggest, and I don't say this often, like one of the biggest reasons that I refrain from really like going out, and it's just so sad, is because I don't feel comfortable in certain situations.
Yeah.
Like when I go to a theater, the first thing I look for are the exit
signs. Yeah, no.
And when I go to the club, I feel uncomfortable. I'm generally like searching all around, looking at who looks suspicious or who's doing what or where's the nearest place. Like I just don't feel comfortable. It's not to say I will never go to those places, but for me to even, the first thought that's in my mind is like, let me think about all the worst case scenarios and how I will get away.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions. So do you think that these things are actually occurring more, like factually? Because I don't have the facts, right? I don't know if you guys have it.
I don't.
Are these things actually occurring more, or is it a matter, like you kind of talked about earlier, is it a matter of reporting it, right? Because that's a different, like, if they're happening the same amount of time and it's just they're being reported more, it kind of not changes it, but changes it.
No, but I'll speak for the U.S. alone. Mainly what we've been discussing are mass shootings in the sense of killing massive amounts of people at once. And yes, it's risen. By far, we're the country with the most massive or mass shootings across the world. It doesn't happen at the rate it happens in the U.S. Of course, it's because of the accessibility of guns.
So that's gun culture. So that's your why? You think that's why?
I think so, yeah, because gun culture in the U.S. is very protected for capitalistic reasons, for just cultural reasons, like people grow up hunting and things of the sort. So guns are treated as this thing to be protected, as opposed to something that's supposed to be used to protect us.
What do you think about that? Do you think would you say guns are maybe not the only reason, but let's say like a very big reason or number one reason that a lot of these, let's just say mass shootings, we don't have to go with the terrorists in the United States, you think that's why?
For sure.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question because I just, in general, for only talking about the United States, I think it's a systemic thing. I think that like, and like I, on my Instagram and my stories, I was like posting these things because I was also talking about like the school system and a couple of girls in the past few weeks that I've like read their stories where they've died after, you know, getting in fights. I don't think it's guns because those were not gun related, but it's safety in general is more like, I feel like it's an American problem because we all feel like we have rights. I have a right for this. I have a right for this. Children have a right for this. And these people have these rights. And in order for us to continue to run our country the way it's always been run, we can't just take away people's guns. And we can't just start spanking children in schools. And we can't just, we can't just say we're going to do this so this doesn't happen anymore because people are going to say, well, it's my right.
But Dwayne, I was speaking more to your anxiety levels because I feel like everybody feels what you're feeling in the sense that places that we're supposed to feel safest in are no longer our places of safety.
Yeah.
And we can't feel any sense of peace in going into any public setting any longer. You can barely feel safe in your own home, let alone outside of your own home. And I think that is a lot to do with the fact that somebody can just get up and decide to kill hundreds of people in one fell swoop. Like, and that is related to guns, and it's because guns have gotten smarter.
I was gonna say, don't you think? Because, like you said, it seems like that's always been a possibility. Right?
No,
like, no. What I mean, I'm agreeing with you actually.
Yeah.
Right? It's always been a possibility that a person can decide that they're just going to create as much damage as possible.
Yeah.
But now the difference is they have better tools to do it.
Okay, so you're getting to what I'm going to say in the sense that I'm sure 50 years ago there might have been the person that wanted to kill 100 people, but guns weren't as smart as they are now. Like when the Constitution was put in place, they had freaking muskets. They didn't have automatic weapons. So this thing we're trying to protect, it's not in the same way that it was once, was once used. And at that time, people would just assassinate people to make a statement. You know, like 50 years ago, you would assassinate the JFKs of the world, Bobby Kennedys of the world to make your statement. And yes, like every life matters. I'm not going to weight one life over the other, but we didn't have mass shootings, so there was anxiety around assassinations, but it's not at the level as it is now.
I think every single
anybody
individual
is targeted. Yeah,
is concerned, and it's not that whole like, oh, I'm not. Before, I guess what you're saying is like, okay, if you were an important person, you would have to have your security.
Exactly.
But like now, it doesn't matter if you're important or not.
Exactly.
You can just be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Anywhere. Like
I'm literally getting goosebumps as we're speaking. Yeah. Like I'm just like so like, oh my gosh, people are so draining.
So I think to not kind of wrap up, but hopefully we can find some positivity. How or what can we do to change the course of things in our little lives, right? We can't necessarily, we're not going to by ourselves, we're not going to change gun laws, let's say. We can't stop every person that wants to do something crazy. But what can we do? Are there things that you think that like we need to be more careful about, like how we raise our kids, how we treat each other, how we like take care of our own selves? Like if you go somewhere, like you said, make sure you know what the exit signs are, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be cheesy, but it's all about mindfulness of how you're interacting with people and trying to like be a positive example and person in your own life, because a lot of these people who are doing these, they're not always motivated by hate alone, like hate of whomever they're targeting. A lot of times it's like self-hatred or feeling like the world is against them in some fashion. And I don't know if there was ever any saving of them. I don't know if it could have just been that one guidance counselor that paid attention, or that one neighbor that like tried to extend themselves to. I don't know. Maybe that is not the answer, but that's the only thing I can think of at this point.
That's the smallest possible
That's the smallest thing that I, as myself, could do. I can be positive to all of those around me. Like I can try and be a good person to my coworkers, because I don't want, I don't want that crazy coworker to feel like nobody around them cares. Stuff like that. And I don't know that that's the answer, but that's what I can think of that I could maybe contribute. Outside of obviously like pushing for gun legislation in the form of voting or like, activism in some sort of way. But sometimes people feel like my one voice can't really do much. There's not much of a ripple effect. Because you see it happen all the time. Every time there's a mass shooting, like the fact that Sandy Hook happened, that's the one with the elementary school, and no comprehensive changes happened out of that. The fact that little children, I'm like, what? Then what is it? Like, what? The fact that the one in Vegas happened, where it was hundreds of people at a
literally
festival.
Like,
I don't know how many people need to die in what fashion.
Any kind of thing that could happen that could resonate with any individual has happened. Yeah. And it's like still nothing gets done about it. That's why for me it's like, okay, I can sit down here and tell you about every little thing that I like try to do, put joy into the world and be nice to people. But I honestly feel like it's an institutional problem.
It is.
Like we need to start thinking, we need to change our perspective. We don't need to think like, okay, I have a right to a gun, or you don't have the right to hit my children in school. And like I put out a statement out there this week, and I don't know if you guys saw my story on Instagram. I was like, my statement was this: not every single child deserves to go to school. And I was kind of like, come at me, bro, because I said what I said, because I just feel like if you know that you have, because a lot of these kids, let's go back to like school shootings and stuff like that. A lot of these kids, they have problems that are like they have a track record, right? It's not like they just woke up one day and they just hated the world or they just hated people. They've done little things here and there, and like people have said like, oh yeah, they always were strange or they always caused this problem. If you know that your child is one of those kids, your child is always fighting in school, if we're going to say that kids aren't allowed to be smacked in school, whatever, then don't bring your child to school. Keep them at home. Homeschool them.
I see where you're trying to go, but I do think it's a very dangerous line, because where do you draw the line? And unfortunately, I think that if anything like that was ever instituted on a large scale, it would end up affecting all the wrong people. It would end up affecting a little kid that just comes from a poor home and really is not a danger, just needs someone to wrap an arm around him and say like, hey, you're going to be okay. So I see where you're going, where it's like, we know that there is a very small percentage of kids that maybe a school setting is not for them. Like, they don't need to be in that setting. They need to have different kind of care. And I think it's okay for us to recognize that. It's okay for institutions to be made for that purpose.
They do have things like that in place, to change the way you run the school system, right? Kids are literally they're not afraid of anything.
But
you can't beat them. You can't really
But
discipline them.
there is like the school for, I guess, delinquent kids, if you will. Like
There is.
have schools like that for a reason. It's just if we were to make it more wide scale.
I don't even think we need to even have delinquent schools. I'm just saying that, like, as a parent, you're talking about what we can all personally do. If you see as a parent that your child is like, you can't even control your child. Do you expect them to control your child in school where there's literally no rules?
So
keep your child at home.
But a lot of times school is childcare for people.
I also think that another thing too is that we're kind of having a different conversation in the sense that if we're talking about the mass shootings and stuff.
Well, she's pivoting out of the mass.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think okay. I just want to make sure because the kids that kind of end up doing those things are not your regular delinquent kids that just get in trouble in school. Like these are different.
Sometimes they're unassuming. You would have never expected it.
So those are very different. So that's also another thing. Like I think it's important for us to make that distinction. Right. So it's not like, oh, the kid that gets in fights, he shouldn't go to school because he's a danger in that way. Like, I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, but I mean,
not in a danger in that way. But I'm not a danger in like you can cause mass shootings. You're endangering somebody else's life because to your peers. I read a story about two different girls literally getting jumped at school and losing their lives right after. You wouldn't think like, okay, so what? My child likes to fight when they go to school. They can kill someone, but that is a possibility. Yeah. Like I'm not saying that your child is the worst person, but if your child literally, you can't get them to stop fighting in school. If you can't do it, their teacher sure cannot do it. They're not equipped with any tool that will stop them from allowing a child to fight or not fight. So keep your child at home. That's just how I feel. Wait,
I understand again, but I have to disagree.
You're not gonna
again.
Sure, but I mean, to move out of that in a way and to kind of go back to your question, mass shootings or not, just in general, safety in the world. How do you feel like that can be combated on an individual level?
Honestly, I think there's really not much more than you guys have said. Like it's a matter of just trying to change the world in terms of perspective. Trying to be more positive. Yeah. I do think that a huge part of it does start in the homes, where it's like, hey, let's recognize, let's give this kind of love, and unfortunately, like it seems like a lot of the mass shootings, they don't come from like poor homes, like they don't come from the regular things that we kind of think of like, oh, they need help. Like it's not a simple like you give them more money. Like it seems like they just need attention. Like they just need love. Yeah. And of course, there's a mental health piece to it that I can't speak to because I'm not an expert in any way, and that is something I don't know about. But I think that's a huge part of mental health needs to be checked and evaluated and addressed way earlier than it seems like it's kind of normal. Like, I know going through high school, I mean, I don't think I ever had any issues, but there was never like, and again, I don't really want to say like, hey, let's check all kids, but there was never, exactly, why can't we? But there was never anything
there's school psychologists and stuff, but you don't want to. Just like
you don't want to force feed them.
The kids to go to
at school.
You know something?
What?
You know how we have like doctor's appointments, dental appointments?
I was gonna
how about something like that?
I was gonna say.
So I know that I've gone to the most recent physicals, last couple. I know like they have like a little questionnaire that's very useless because it's just like. I mean, I guess for kids it'd probably be really helpful because kids tend to be more honest. But it's like, oh, have you felt sad for no reason in the last 2 days? Like stuff like, oh, last month, and like they try to kind of gauge real quick to see if there's anything there they should look into further. But yeah, I think that should definitely be. I hope that it's being done for kids if it's being done for me as an adult.
Much like a physical, I think a therapy session should be
it's a physical and a mental.
Just like how like you can go to the doctor for a physical and then you do follow-ups if there's something wrong. There should be something like that in the sense that okay, you have like the yearly check-in with whomever your therapist is, whatever in that sense, and then if you need to see them more frequently, you do. I think it should just be as normal as, you know, checking on your health, checking on what's going on.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't understand what these people are doing. But yes, definitely.
I love that time in the middle. I was just gonna say, I love the timing. That was the perfect timing for a lot of
I just saw feet flying everywhere.
You cannot see it, but
I was like, whoa.
Mine is in the side of the
now you can see
her
it.
legs are like
oh my god. I mean, it was about time that we wrapped up anyway, so it's all good. Don't you can stick around for
we definitely have to have another conversation about the school system
stuff.
and stuff in the future. But yes, I think we're good for today.
We're good for today. But yeah, I was saying, don't you can stick around and talk about shout outs if you want.
Oh my gosh.
Do you want to?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Alright, so shout out time. Correct? My favorite time.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, first, Idris. My man's Idris. He's a little bit old for me, but he's my crush. He got married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're talking about your married man like that. Hey.
Who
did you get married to?
Sabrina. What's her last name?
Ooh,
I don't
Dowry,
know.
something like that.
Dowry. Where's she from? I was having a
I feel like
conversation.
she's East African or something.
Exactly. I'm like, she must be from somewhere.
She's African. I feel like she is.
We need to find out.
I don't know
Shout
much
out
about her,
country,
but she's
like-
beautiful too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's gorgeous. But yeah, he got married. Good for him. I think
Yes,
his first
yes.
marriage. Yeah. So that's that. Who's next? What's next?
Well, there's not really a shout out in a sense, but
Okay.
Avengers came out. I know everyone is gonna see it. I haven't seen it yet. Have you guys seen it?
Have not.
No.
Yeah. A
I
lot of people
know
are hyped.
it's
I don't
I-
even watch like the Avengers series.
Wait, I
movies,
thought you
whatever.
liked.
No,
Okay, we
the
need to
only
talk
one
about
I've
it.
ever watched is Black Panther.
I thought you like movies. You don't like.
I do.
movies?
I don't like action movies. Superhero
How about you?
movies.
So you haven't seen any of the Avengers?
First of all, you're talking to me.
Oh, I know
in
you don't like
relation to
movies. I know you don't like
Then
movies.
in specific in relation to like
Like
Avengers, I don't
superhero
like action movies.
I'm just
Okay.
not.
I mean, I'm not really that big into superhero movies, but I have watched all of them except for this one.
All of them?
Like the
Wow,
Avengers?
there's
Yeah,
like
there's
22
only
of them.
no the Avengers.
No, okay, I was
Aven-
talking like the
Marvel,
whole
no, no,
Marvel
no.
universe.
I
Yeah.
don't watch all of them. I'm not a
Um,
Marvel freak. No.
But
I haven't
people
watched
have
Yeah.
said, like, when I've seen people that have watched it
Mhm.
post on social media, they said this is a great movie, and if you're like into the whole Marvel Avengers thing, then it was a great ending.
Perfect
It
ending.
was
I've heard
perfect.
it's like the best movie of all time. Of course, some people are kind of crazy.
People do.
None
the
of us
most-
have seen it, so we cannot
Yeah,
attest to
we
it.
can't
I'm
really-
sure it's not the best movie of all time. I can attest to it.
Disclaimer: watch it at your own.
Yeah.
What's that word? Risk.
Who
Watch it
else
your
are we
own
shouting out?
Time 100.
Yes,
Right?
let's shout out Doing first, of course, because Doing is more important than
Okay,
Time 100.
fine.
You know, as in.
So then why don't you tell the people your Instagram and all your other handles so they can follow you?
I believe right now, and even if this is not the case, I'm gonna change it.
Don't worry, we'll
All-
post it.
on all
Mhm.
platforms. You can follow me at Miss MS Doyin J DOYINJAY.
Alright.
Follow me. You know,
Yeah,
She
we're
writes
gonna post
articles.
I
it.
write
with the-
articles. My article link is always in my bio, so click that link and tell me what you think.
What's your latest article about, real quick, so people tease it out for them?
My latest article features a fire response I had between myself and a undisclosed celebrity.
Mm.
And it's just telling you guys how I feel. I, of course, leave room in the comments for anybody to fire back and let me know how they're feeling, if they agree, they disagree, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Follow me at Miss Doing J.
Okay, let me
Before
see.
we get to time, since we're on the
wow,
Instagram
time is
thing,
just gonna
sorry,
go.
just
That's
gonna have to
all
chill.
right.
You saved the
Since
best
we're
for
on
last,
Instagram-
kind of.
Since
I was
we're
the
on-
best, but you know, time whatever.
No, since we're already on the Instagram tip, somebody that follows us on Instagram, Amakemi, she's been a great follower, supporter of ours. She's always engaging with us, so I thought she deserved a shout out. And now we can get to time.
Alright, so the Time 100, of course, they have like the 100 most important, influential people of the year. They do it yearly. So the one that just came out, I'm just going to shout out the Africans. There's mad people on the list, but the Africans are on there. Rami Malek,
Yeah,
who was
Rami
the
Malek
the actor. He just won a Grammy. Oh, not Grammy. Oscar, right?
for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Really good actor. Egyptian, I believe.
Mhm.
Mo Salah, Egyptian soccer. Oh, two Egyptians. This is
Yeah, we need to be
Mo
really
Salah, Egyptian soccer
careful
player.
about calling.
What?
Continue.
Oh,
I don't really want.
African.
I don't. Oh, okay. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
I
please
had a
don't do
conversation
that.
with
We're
someone
not
else.
doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't
Egyptians
know. We
are
don't
African.
know. We don't know. No, it's them that.
We
Say
see them as
we
Africans,
do,
but they might not see
because there's
themselves as
African
Africans.
continent.
Okay, well, I'm
Okay,
willing
if
to have a
your
conversation.
if your country is the people that we shouted out right now, if your country is like on in the
I
physically
think that
in the
that's
continent
a
of
very interesting
Africa.
conversation. I would love to have a conversation with someone that tells me they're
Maybe
African.
next time.
And,
We need to
can
find an
always, we can
Egyptian
always
person.
teach our brothers about themselves. That's always cool.
Okay.
Abiy Mohammed.
Mm.
He's the president. I want to say of Ethiopia, which I was
Okay.
surprised that they have presidents and stuff.
Yeah.
Fred
Why are you surprised?
Swaniker. Because I always think of all the presidents as no one likes them. So,
So the fact that he's on the list.
yeah.
But the thing is, Ethiopia is doing big things because, like, their
Exactly.
airline,
That's
even
kind of
though
why.
take away from the crash, that wasn't even their fault.
Yeah.
Their
Exactly.
airline is literally like they're making a
Top
lot
notch.
of money. It's top notch. They literally came out and said we're trying to be the gateway for all flights to come into
Yeah.
Africa, and they've literally done that. So I
Yeah.
can see why he's on the list.
Yeah, so he's on the list. Fred Swaniker, I just read a little about him, is a Ghanaian entrepreneur. He has a bunch of organizations basically trying to increase leadership,
Right.
which is always good.
And did you guys know that, like, a couple of years back, I don't even know how well this did, but like Ghanaians, they made their own like at-home car, like made in Africa car. You guys know
I
that?
feel like I heard about something like that, but the one I heard about was like a hoax. Like the guy was like, he was like this. Like he would always say he was making something that was new, but really he would just take something that was already made and like kind of remix it.
Like,
but it's probably not the same.
I didn't follow up with it, but I know the African actor John DeMello, his Ghanaian, he was literally like he kept telling people buy it, buy it, buy it.
Okay, we need to look up.
We need to look it up. Let's talk about it. Well,
next
you
time.
guys should talk about it. I'm saying let's, like I'm part of the show.
All right, my last shout out is Cyril Ramaphosa. I believe he's the South African president.
Oh, cool.
So that is
Another
it.
president.
Yeah, exactly. 2 presidents.
Yeah,
so that's kind of good, but I also need to find some more influential. Like, it's not just the president.
Yeah,
that
sure.
are doing big
There's
things
some
in Africa.
great.
But to be that person, to be that person that's gonna come out and say it, I feel like some of these countries are well deserved because if you see how their presidents are getting shout out and you see what they're actually doing, then you can understand it. Especially being from a country from Nigeria where we're literally in a constant battle where we're like, oh, our leaders are this, our leaders are that. When you're seeing all these countries making it actually happen for them, they're not just saying it, but their leaders are actually making it happen. That's a lot to look forward to. Like, and it's a sentiment across the board for a lot of Africans where we feel like our leaders don't respect us.
I agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. We should definitely give shout outs to everyone that deserves it, right? Regardless of where they come from or what positions they hold. That's what we try to do, right? We try to give some shout outs
if you make it happen,
small people and big people, and hopefully all the small people will be big people.
Right.
Alright, what else is there? That's it?
I think we're good.
What's going on this week? Anything cool or interesting?
Not quite.
Right.
I don't know.
Broccoli Fest. Did that happen this past weekend?
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can find info about that and talk about it. Oh, I heard Whiskey didn't show up.
He didn't. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
He never shows up anywhere. Oh, but Burna Boy.
No Whiskey slander will be tolerated.
Whatever.
Oh, alright. I played this show.
So, welcome to Terminal 235, everybody.
235, yeah!
Scott.
Can we keep that in the interest of transparency?
I quit.
Bloopers.
Clearly, it's been a long week.
Okay, so Jalapa just walked up to set. I will now be taking over.
Goddamn, get your body magic. Your body magic. Bang bang bang. Bang 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 bang. Your body magic.